Bing!
Pow.
Pa! Ooh!
Oof.
Ooh! We make it.
The survey says
Survey says. I hear sound.
that's a good sign. Hearing sound is a good sign. Does anyone else hear sound?
Akil says it's alive.
It's alive.
Jeff says we made it.
Good. If Jeff says it, then it's true.
Welcome, everybody. It's
Yes.
Double Cup Joe Show. I'm your host, Joe.
And I'm your other host, Joe.
Mm-hmm. And we are here to Joe you up.
Get Joed.
Yeah. Get Joed.
Don't know what that means, but yes, do it.
Oh, it's so funny today because we pushed the thing live and there was no music. That's like, wow, it's so quiet. And Joe's gone. Like he clicked it live and then he left. And he's like, I'll be back. And I'm like, okay. And then it's just, we're sitting here in silence. Like, okay, well, do.
Just put Joe's mic on. Make it a hot mic and just have him singing the entire.
Oh yes, that'd be super fun. But anyway, welcome. It is, what day is it today? Wednesday. Wow.
Yes. We have a meeting tonight.
Huh?
Holidays are weird.
I know. It's so crazy. Even though we did a show,
Mm-hmm.
it's just because of the work day, the work week thing,
Stuff.
it's
Yeah.
all, yeah, it changed everything around. It's crazy. But at
Mm.
any rate, yep. So today we are talking about fear. This whole week we're talking about fear, actually. And today is very, very important day. The fear of failure and success, which a lot of people are like, what is this fear of success? Like, why would I be afraid of success? There are a lot of reasons. And it's a very common fear, and it holds us back ridiculously. So it's one of those great things. I'm really excited to hear what Joe has to say about it, because I am tremendously afraid of success, apparently. My track record speaks for itself. And yes, but at any rate, we're going to talk about that. But first, we do our 3-step process.
Ooh, 3 steps.
Yeah, there's 3 of them. 5 is right out.
I don't think I can handle 5 questions this early.
I know, it's 3 questions, 3 steps to greatness. It's going to be awesome. So, Joe, step number 1. What is step number 1?
Step number 1? I don't. Yes, I do know what it is.
I don't remember.
What am I
It's not
thankful
my
for?
job to announce it. You are the host. You announce step number 1. Step number 1. What are you thankful for today?
Oh, well,
Oh,
yeah.
you can feel free to participate in the chat as well. But Joe, I'm going to ask you, what are you thankful for today, huh?
It's a great question, Joe.
And if I say it like this, am I like a psychoanalyst? What are you thankful for?
Yes, indeed. How does it make you feel? Yes. Thankfulness. Today, I'm thankful for the ability to do this show from home. That's super nice. I don't have to like get up and go anywhere. I don't. This man, getting up and going to even this other room is a little tough this early. So getting up and actually physically going to another place.
I gotta get up. I gotta put clothes on other than my pajamas.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
What?
You left.
Where did I leave to?
You were right here.
Wait.
It's like,
my shirt's almost dark enough that it blends in with my curtain. You know the curtains.
It's like I'm trying to hide from the 3-step process.
Well, one was enough.
Yes, I too am thankful for being able to do this show from home. I think that's great. I mean, the technology, every single one of you can do this. You start a YouTube show. It's awesome. But anyway, that's step number 1. What are you thankful for? Jeff, I think Jeff posted something. He's thankful for already having 9 stories for work scheduled to be published, giving me more time for other things later on, which is great. Man, Jeff, I tell you, he is like Mr. Audio Man. He can get projects done like you wouldn't believe. The guy is just like a machine. It's amazing to watch him in action. He'll join us like before we come on stream, and he'll like we'll be on for like a half an hour. Well, he and I will be on for a half an hour. Joe will join us like shortly thereafter at the exact appropriate time.
Like a wizard.
Yes, exactly. But he gets so much accomplished even in that little span of time that we're hanging out. He's just like, yep, got that one done, got that one done, got that one done. There's another one done, another one done. It's like, well, dude, you're making the rest of the world look bad.
That's what Jeff does.
Oh. But the rest of the world needs no help. It looks bad a lot anytime. But at any rate, that's step number 1. What are you thankful for? Step number 2. What are you looking forward to? You always got something to look forward to. If you search deep down, what are you looking forward to? Joe, what are you looking forward to today?
Fantastic question. I'm looking forward to step number 3. No. Boom.
Oh my.
Anyway, so I do appreciate a good step number 3, but more looking forward than that. I think I'm looking forward to. I don't even know what I'm looking forward to anymore. I'm looking forward to hopefully this week getting all of my uh, work stuff accomplished so that I can plan for this next year. Um, it's we've got a lot of craziness that happened at work this year. So hopefully this year we can actually finish a bunch of our projects so that we can set everything up for next year so it's easier and smoother and more fun.
Cool.
Yeah. So this is what I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to
you
doing.
definitely did. In the accounting world, you got a whole bunch of stuff thrown on your plate, unexpected this tax season.
Mm-hmm.
And they extended the tax season on you.
Till 15.
And yeah, then they threw a whole bunch of new forms at you. Here, learn this stuff.
Yep.
Because you're going to be counseling people through it. Good luck. You guys are the experts.
Yep.
It's like, oh boy, okay.
And you've got 2 weeks. Go.
Right, exactly. And Joe, like a boss, boom, does it.
Something like that.
I'm so impressed. I'm so impressed. Jeff is looking forward to our conference call tonight. Yes, I am too. It's going to be a good one. We have a lot of great stuff coming. I've been on the phone with people on staff here. We've been in touch with Print Ninja. We've gotten all kinds of stuff wrapped up with the Kickstarter campaign. It's going to be a great conference. We're going to have a whole bunch of deciding things done and probably some orders placed for things, and it's going to be super awesome. So, yeah. But that's awesome. Akil's looking forward to step number 2. We are on step number 2. But I know, Akil, you said earlier in the chat, you said you were looking forward to tomorrow because you're working through some food poisoning. Ouch, man. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you can feel better. That is never, ever a good time, ever. Ugh. But best of luck for you, my friend. But anyway, so that brings us to step number 3, which is, what are you going to do today to move your life forward? Joe, what are you going to do today?
Great question. Yeah, that was a good question.
I'm gonna.
No, today I'm gonna do all the things that. That's a lie. I'm not gonna be able to do that. I'm gonna do all the things I said I would do at our last conference call, but didn't do until today. So.
Hey, that works.
Yep.
Cram it all in the last day.
Yep. It's a secret tactic I learned in school.
Oh,
Procrastination. Yep.
yes. Raka is gonna skip steps 1 and 2 for step number 3. Man, can't skip steps 1 and 2.
Impossible.
All the 3 steps in the 3-step process are amazing, because if you skip steps 1 and 2, it's no longer a 3-step process.
Yeah.
It's a 1-step process.
Plus, if you take step 3 before you take step 2 and 1, you're liable to trip.
You might. And then boom, Jeff's going to move life forward. Some of what Joe B said. Get further on this new 6-segment audio show that's on my plate. Yeah, good. I too will be cleaning up my assignments for the week. I've got a bunch of them done. Oh yeah, I guess I got them all done except for one. Actually, I got them all done except for 3 of my assignments. But 2 of those assignments was because our hard copy proof from Print Ninja got held up in customs. So we did not get that until yesterday. We were supposed to have it Friday and we didn't get it till yesterday, but
Custom officers are like, this looks pretty good. Just take a look at that.
Right. Yeah. Apparently it's crazy. Like Kyle was telling me about it last night. He's like, yeah, it's this big, huge sheet. Like they didn't cut it into the pages. They just sent the sheet. They rolled it up and sent it. It's like this.
Wow.
So it's kind of a pain to deal with. But because it talked about bombing.
Probably. Yeah, we're gonna send this a master plan on a 4-foot by 8-foot piece of paper. Talks about bombing. I'm sure that's gonna go over well. No wonder it got locked in customs. Good call, Jeff.
Oh yes. But that is awesome. Well, that is the 3-step process. What do you get? What do you? I almost said them backwards. What are you thankful for? What are you looking forward to? And what are you going to do today to move your life forward? And I'm telling you, you do that every day, and it'll change your life. Do it multiple times a day. It'll really wow. It'll be amazing. So do it, and it'll be great. So Saiki asks, have you had breakfast? You know what I had for breakfast?
Coffee.
Bulletproof coffee.
Ugh. Ugh.
Yeah. Bulletproof coffee is a wonderful thing. You take coffee and you add a bunch of butter to it. And then oil. You take this coffee, which is just caffeine, and it tastes like wonderful heaven, you know? Joe doesn't seem to think so. He's not been enlightened on the wonderness of coffee flavor. But you take this it's calorie free when it's just plain black, right? So then you take this calorie free beverage and you dump in like 400 calories of fat. Great. Joe's like,
I can't just keep telling you stuff, Joe.
It's great. It's good for you. I'm telling you,
good for you.
it is. It's good for you. See, that's the huge misconception. A lot of people think fat is bad for you, but it's actually good for you. The thing that's the culprit is sugar. Watch out for sugar. Fat is good for you. Your body will just use it, and your brain mostly uses it. So like you will feel focused and it's great. But when you eat sugar, your liver takes it, it kicks up your insulin levels, and then your liver takes that and converts it into fat and stores it on your body in your blood vessels and in around your organs and everything like that. So sugar is what causes you to store fat. When you eat fat, your body just uses it. Unless you eat a lot of it. But
I need the extra padding.
it's hey, you gotta have something there. Because if you get sick, it's good to have some extra, to live off of, But yeah, so anyway, that's huge misconceptions that we have that we're still working through these days. A lot of people think, oh, fat is bad. You need to eat low fat stuff. No, man. That's good for you. It's not the enemy. Not the enemy. Now watch. I'll probably say all this and then I'll have a heart attack when I'm 20 because I'm 19 right now, and you know.
It'll probably be more due to all the caffeine than it will be due to
Yep, that's probably right. But
the stick
anyway,
of butter and coffee and
it's
my
not a whole
we're,
stick. You
we're
just a chunk, right? Just a chunk off a stick.
no, I can't. It's not. We're not to my annual coffee journey yet. So
Your annual coffee journey.
yeah, I try coffee every single year,
You
and
do?
it's awful every single time, but I do it
I
anyway.
Man, I'm so impressed.
I've
You
not
do
yet
that every
achieved
year, huh?
coffee enlightenment. Yep, it's every November.
Every November you try it just to see if you don't like it still?
Yep, and I still don't
Wow.
like it. It's
It's just
still gross.
every
Every
November I
every
still hate
year, everyone gets around to
it.
watch. They're like, "Let's watch Joe make funny faces every time he drinks his beverage."
Oh, that's great. But that's a lesson though. I learned to do that. I don't do it every year. I just do that every 2 years with stuff I don't like.
So you're telling me I should stop and go back to every 2 years?
No, no, I'm thinking maybe I should go to every year. Like my kids think it's hilarious because they always get me to eat mushrooms. Because mushrooms are disgusting. All kind.
That's fair.
But they're like, "Yeah, Dad, you gotta eat some mushrooms." I'm like, "Oh, has it been 2 years?" "Yeah," and it's been like a month and a half, and they're
You won't remember.
But, that's fun. But that way you never know, because you never know what you might like. That happened to me with asparagus. I hated asparagus for the longest time, and then all of a sudden I tried it, and I liked it. Now it's good, you know? Same thing happened with coleslaw for my wife. But, hey, so try the things you don't like. You might end up liking them. Crazy. But anyway, we should move on to our topic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so
We have a topic we're talking about.
we do. We're gonna talk about fear of failure and fear of success. And Joe's gonna start us off because he's Mr. Wisdom over there. Look at that. Look at that face. He's got the what? Oh, he did the eyebrow.
Eyebrow.
The wisdom eyebrow. Da, 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 and the chin.
The beard stroke that I don't have.
Doo, 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 doo. Look at that. So yeah, so take it away, Joe. Ta-da! Joe.
Yep, I can only talk about failure. No, just kidding. The fear of failure and success. That's what we're talking about today, and it's a doozy. There's a lot here, and hopefully you get something out of this because this is pretty big. I'm gonna start with failure and then we'll come back to success because historically I've always been more afraid of failure than success until I started having any kind of success, and then I got afraid of that too. So
Hmm.
I'm gonna start with the one I started with. So as with anything else, not doing things how you wanted them generally can be a fear. I'll give an example. If you make any kind of food and you burn it, uh, that's a fear you can have. I hate making things not right. One, because they generally taste bad. You know, the burned food taste is not nearly as good as the non-burned food taste. So, what do? You kind of set up your life to not fail. You set up a timer. You you set all of these parameters to help you not fail in what you're doing. Um, so I mean, in terms of how life works with failure, it's very similar to this cooking. I don't know why I use analogies that I do, but sometimes I do. Um, so with everything else, it's roughly the same. Um, if you're going ahead and doing something like, uh, you know, studying for a midterm, the same thing. You set up some parameters. You set up some studying parameters. Like, I need to study this much for this long to mitigate the chances of failure. But you still understand that sometimes that can happen. You can still fail. If you ever decided to cook something, you can do everything right and still not get the result you wanted. So, for instance, I'm going to give the analogy of baking. In case you didn't know, the your elevation above sea level affects baking. So you could do everything exactly the same in one place and go to another place and do it exactly the same and have it be wrong. Like, there are going to be some parts of what you do and what you plan for that just won't be right. You just won't know. There will be things that you can't plan for.
Mm-hmm.
And Joe talked about this on Don't Worry Wednesday. I'm sure I don't want to take it from him. Then he'll come up with it. I'm gonna see if I can read Joe's mind. So, but there's so much that you can just not be ready for at any point, and to just learn to accept that that's a natural part of life, and that you can learn a bunch from your failures. You can learn so much more from your failures than you can your successes. The importance is to then take what you learn to go after the success. So, I don't want to. Well, no, I haven't been talking that long already. Wow, I've got so much more time, Joe. I'm not used to this. I can keep going. I
You
can keep
can
going. I didn't want to steal your
keep
stuff.
rolling, man. You're on a roll. I don't
Um,
have. I was researching while you were talking because I'm like, I don't know what to
what?
say.
Researching.
You're
I
like,
forgot
no,
you're
you
only.
know, you always have something to say. Like seriously, like
He does, but it's so good. Like, he's just like, I've been through all this before. I know everything. Robot
uh,
Joe is.
right.
But no. So failure is just this thing that happens in life, and and failure is generally the result of going after something big, going after something that you hadn't achieved before. And this is where the fear of failure comes in, because it's kind of tied to the fear of the unknown.
Mm,
Of like,
mm,
you haven't been this way before,
mhm.
and so it kind of takes the level of trust and of like, this is the way I'm supposed to go, regardless of what my fears are. Joe's talked about it all this week, so I am stealing it from him, but I'm not stealing it from him today. Is dang it, I lost it immediately. It's way too early for this. It's way too early for this, guys. It's gone. I'm like, yeah, I remember this thing that Joe said. Joe,
I'm
I'm not stealing
waiting.
that from Joe either. So this is like I planned.
Ta-da. This is mind
Um,
tricks. No stealing.
yep. Joe is literally stealing thoughts out of my head as we speak. Um, so I mean, because and that's what it is. You haven't been to some of these places, so don't let the fear of something that you don't know haunt you. Like, it doesn't exist. Like, it's not something that, it's really hard to think of things when I have to dance around some thoughts. Um, it's really hard to go about your life when you're so contemplating things that could go wrong. When when the odds are things could go just as right. I've lived my life by the 50-50 principle. Either it will happen or it won't happen. Now, the odds aren't perfectly that way, but accepting the fact that it could be one way or it could be the other, and just being content in both ways, is a much easier way to live with your life. It's way simpler than it's got to be this way or I'm gonna be just sad. If my life doesn't go the direction I thought it was gonna go, I'm gonna be heartbroken. If this doesn't end up the way that I was thinking, I guess that's it. I'm never gonna amount to anything. Like that's not true. Like you know it's not true. I know it's not true. So I hope that one of the things you take away from our week here is to be content with the with any outcome. To get your life to a place where you can be, you know what? It doesn't matter if I lose my house, I lose my dog. I mean, it sounds rough, and what I'm telling you is not easy.
Mm.
And I've only been there a couple of times in my life. It's super peaceful. It is super peaceful. And I can honestly tell you, I don't think I'm there right now. And so it's one of those situations where it's like, this is what you should do. This is what I should do. You know, I've heard it said from many pastors I've listened to is, you know, generally when I get up here and talk, it's about stuff I'm actually going through in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Not just some stuff you should do. And that's how it goes. So the same thing with this show. If I tell you something on this show, it's not because I think that our community really needs this right now. It's generally this is something that I'm facing with right now, and hopefully other people are too. So I don't think Joe has it all together. That Joe probably.
Yeah.
Um,
That's it.
um, so I just don't want you to take look at us and go, oh, they seem to have it so far together. The only reason we even seem to remotely have it together is because we were in the place where you are right now. You know, age and experience put so much behind dealing with these topics that it's crazy. And I want you to get to that point. I want you to be able to say, you know, I've been through a lot, and hey, here's where I am now. And now you can look back and say, I know how to deal with fear. I know how to deal with success and the fears thereof. So
Mm-hmm.
now I've talked long enough. I'm going to pass it back to Joe.
Oh, you had a little timer or something. You're like,
Oh
let's
yeah,
see.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
That's awesome. No, that's some great stuff. I especially like that. I used to get up in front of people and talk every once in a while, and sometimes I'd do some teaching, and I'd be like, okay, this is gonna be like self-counseling, so I'm gonna basically counsel myself, and you guys get to be here while I do that. Right? So whatever I'm teaching you right now is the stuff I'm teaching myself. I'm telling myself what I need to do, and you guys can witness this, I guess. Feel free to take whatever I say, I guess. Jeff's got some profound stuff here on this on the topic of the fear of success. It actually has a name, achievemophobia. Has its own phobia. It's crazy. But yeah, Jeff says sometimes the fear of success is that you've put so much effort in to produce a successful result that you doubt you'll be able to keep that pace up going forward. Sometimes success puts you in the spotlight and you'd rather remain productive but under the radar. That's absolutely true. Sometimes, it's not necessarily the success that we fear, but it's the results of the success. Like, okay, if I become successful here, it's going to put me in the spotlight, like he says, or it's going to make me have to continue working super hard to maintain it. Or, now I'm going to be in this position, like he just posted. I'm going to be in a position of more responsibility. Now I'm going to have, more people looking to me to make decisions. Now and so to fear those positions that success brings can be something that we can definitely be afraid of and feel real fear about. Um, Sometimes it it goes hand in hand with failure because I'm sure you've heard, I know I've heard a zillion times that the pathway to success is lots and lots of failure. You will fail many, 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 many times on your way to success. And so sometimes we fear the failures it's going to take to get to the success that we want. So we fear that road of, beaten and, like just trying and trying and failing and trying and failing until we finally get there. But I think there's also that there can be some stigmas involved here. A lot of times we are taught that, you look at successful people that are kind of in the spotlight. You look at people who are visibly successful, right? Like like they call maybe the glittering rich, people who are clearly wealthy and they make, and you hear about them all the time, celebrities and stuff like that. And people always, you get this idea that these people are just kind of bad people sometimes, like, oh man, if somebody got rich, they stole it. Or if somebody got rich, they figured out a way to, cheat and stuff and take advantage of other people so they could have all that money. Or, you start to hear these things, especially, and sometimes the Bible gets thrown in there and it's misquoted. They say money's the root of all evil. But no, money is not the root of all evil. The love of money is the root of all kinds of evils, is what the Bible says, which is absolutely true. But it's the love of the money. It's not, yeah, I mean, money is simply a tool that we use, and it can be used for good things or bad things. One thing that it does, though, if you in your heart are looking to evil things, if you're trying to do evil things, having lots of money is just going to bring more of that out. But if in your heart your desire is to do good, having more money is going to bring that out and you're going to do good things. People will deride Bill Gates because he's made so much money, but he gives so much of it away. So much of it away. And like his wife's full-time job is a foundation where she gives his money away to different causes. Like that's her job. And
I
it's
like that
like,
job. This is a good
yeah,
job.
right. I mean, it's amazing. But so you can do some tremendously helpful things for the world in achieving successes. But I think honestly, in my case, I think the label failure and success, I think a lot of us, we hear the words, that person is a failure or that person is a success. And we start to label people as failures or successes when people are not failures or successes. Those are things we experience throughout our lives. We experience successes and failures, but we ourselves are not failures or successes, either one. So we have to detach ourselves from the label of being a failure or of being a success, because we're not. We are above that. Failure and success is something we do, not something we are. And it's all part of a journey, like who we are is a person made in the image of God, of infinite dignity, infinite value, each and every one of us. And our life experiences do not define who we are. And so I think that's one of the things. Like I remember hearing a guy talk one time about labels and how we tend to get caught up in these labels. All kinds of labels out there. LGBTQ, like that was the one that just came to mind right away. Rich person, poor person, all these different things, panhandler. You can get caught up in these labels. Maybe the label is your job. Joe is a CPA. I'm a property inspector. Jeff is he's a oh God, operations director for a media company. Like we can get caught up into these titles and label ourselves these titles, and then it becomes our identity. But we're so much more than that. That's just a part of our experience. That's not who we are. And so when we can detach ourselves from those labels, we can get a lot closer to living that peace that Joe was talking about, where you're detached from that and you're at peace in contentment with whatever is going on. Whatever's happening in the world, we can be content with that because we realize who we are and what we are, and that those things that we experience in our lives do not affect our definition as person. Doesn't affect our personhood. So that was one of the things. Like I sat there and as I was pondering this, because I've always had a hard time wrapping my brain around the fear of success. Like, what is that? You know? Fear of failure, I can understand. Fear of failure. I've failed enough times in my life that now I'm not even really afraid of it anymore. I'm just like, whatever. It's just like something that happens on a daily basis. I'm gonna try it, I'm gonna mess it up. It's gonna be great. Then I'm gonna be able to laugh about it later. Everybody else can laugh along with me or at me, and I don't care. It's fine. But failure was something that it was a long time for me to start to accept that, but I finally got to the point where I was able to, and then the fear of success started coming. I'm like, "What is this fear of success thing? I don't understand." And but part of it is, a lot of times people fear the results of the success, like Jeff was talking about in the chat. Is that absolutely appropriate? But more so, I think underlying all of that is the identity label. We start to identify ourselves as a failure or a success, and that becomes scary. It becomes scary. Like we think, okay, if I'm labeled a success, now I've succeeded, so now I am a success. But then what happens if I fail after that? Because that's possible too. Then my label's going to change. No, your label never changed. The label never did anything for you in the first place. So that's I don't know. That's kind of what I was finding as I was studying and figuring this out as I pondered it. But yeah. Anyway, back to you, Joe.
Thanks, Joe. That's good stuff.
Boop.
That's really good. The buttons. He's prepping for tonight's meeting, making sure his button works.
Practice the button pushing.
Yeah, we one of the things you're gonna find out there is like Joe talks about these labels. Hi, static. Labels don't really end up meaning anything, but if we start to attach them, it's how we start to define ourselves. So if you let yourself get labeled as a success or as a failure, that's the way that you're gonna go. That's gonna be what you strive for with what you do. It's one of the reasons, we try to tell you like your value and who you are doesn't come from the labels you've been given because it gives you the opportunity to define who you are on your own
Hmm.
and to not let other people define you. The thing about labels is generally speaking, they're put on you by other people. And we're here to tell you to take those off. Like it doesn't matter if you fail. It doesn't matter if you succeed. Jeff talks about here in the success in the spotlight. Maybe you just don't want the spotlight. Maybe you don't want to have more responsibility. The thing is, by itself, success doesn't necessarily bring those things. Like people will put more of that on you because they're like, oh, you can achieve this. Here's a little bit more to see how much more you can do. And if you don't feel comfortable with those things, you can turn that down. Like you always have the option to say no. I think it's one of the hardest things to learn in life is to just no, this isn't going to be good for me. Whether it's success or failure, maybe there's something that you don't want to fail at because it will bring something bad. You can say no, I'm just not going to try that thing. I'm going to try something else. Like that is a legitimate option. And I hope one of the things you learn from coming here and being a part of this is that your life is defined by you, not by me, not by Joe, not by anyone else around you. It's defined by you.
And not by CNN.
Nope, it's not defined by. If you are on CNN, that's a little interesting. Congratulations, that's pretty up there. That's pretty famous, but nope, not defined by CNN either. It's not defined by the news. Defined by something that's happened to you. Your life is defined by you and what you make of it. And so we're here to tell you: don't be afraid of failure, and don't be afraid of success, because at the end result doesn't matter. It doesn't change who you are. That's Gets back to the idea of peace we were talking about. There was a time in my life where I was really, really worried. Hey, what if I screw this up? Like, my girlfriend's gonna hate me. I'm gonna lose my job. I'm gonna, you know, my friends are all gonna go away. And I got think I was reading Philippians 4. There is no
One of the
fear in
greatest.
love, for perfect love casts out all fear.
Hmm.
Sorry, I interrupted you, Joe.
No, I was going to say that's one of the greatest chapters in the entire Bible, I think.
Mm-hmm. It's really good. So I highly recommend it. Like it's great. Just you can find an app. Philippians 4. It's fantastic. But man, I just read that chapter like every day for like 2 months, and then I was like, you know what? I'm really at peace. This is kind of nice. It was really nice to not have to worry about whether or not I'm a failure or successful. And and there came a point it was just like I can do literally anything with my life, and it'll be great. And that is a really powerful place to be.
Mm-hmm.
That is a life changing place to be, not only for you, but for the people around you. And so, as you're going about your day, as you're doing the things that you love or maybe don't love, recognize that there isn't anything really there. To not be afraid. I think coming from where Joe and I do, like, that is honestly one of the most oft repeated phrases in the Bible. Do not be afraid. Like that's just that you see it everywhere. Just don't be afraid,
Mm-hmm.
and not that like you're not gonna feel fear. Like that's a human thing. I'm sorry, you're gonna deal with it at some point in your life. I'm still dealing with it. I think Joe's still dealing with it at the ripe age of 19.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's a lifelong thing, and it's okay. That's why we're here on the show to talk about it. Is again, we're dealing with it. I'm here to remind myself. I'm gonna say Joe, but unfortunately applies to other Joe as well. When I speak to myself in the third person again. So Ryan
Yeah.
talked about this on Don't Worry Wednesday a while back, where you can, if you take your situation and think about it in the third person, like what would you tell somebody else? That's a great way to deal with the problem that you're facing. The problem is when I use the third person on this show, I'm also referring to my other co-host here. So it's really funny.
You talking about me?
Oh yeah, I'm talking about you behind your back too.
Are you talking about me behind my back now?
uh, yep. So anywho, that's all I got. That's kind of what I want to cover with the topic today. I think if you can reach a point at which you are content with both your failures and successes, and just choose where you want to go from them, that is going to change your life for the
Mm-hmm.
better by so much.
Yeah. And remember that they are simply events in your life. They don't define you. That's one of the deepest traps that I've been caught in so many times is that I define myself by my life experiences. And that's totally wrong. Like I need to separate who I am from what I'm doing and what's happening to me. Right. Because yeah, we are not those things. Those are just simply things that happen to us in our lives. Beautiful. So I'm excited for tomorrow. I'm getting jazzed because tomorrow we're going to talk about the title is "What's the Use." We're going to talk about some other fears that we might experience, and then also how to use that fear because there is a use for this. Like fear is something we all fear, like Joe was talking about. Even though Scripture will tell us, "Don't be afraid," we still experience fear, but that fear can be a motivator, it can be a driver, it can be something that is used to point us in the direction of where we need to go. I mean, all these things when we start to understand what's happening inside us because there's a bodily reaction to fear, like
Mm-hmm.
a physiological, reaction. Like you will experience something as a result of fear. And that bodily reaction is the exact same as excitement. So it's when you start to understand that dimension of things, it's like, oh, I can actually use this feeling to my advantage. I can use it to move myself forward, you know?
Mhm.
and it gets to be an amazing time, and then your life starts to take on a whole new dimension because now you're embracing this feeling, you're embracing your fear, and you're saying, all right, here we go, time to go, and then things start to get exciting. So I'm excited for tomorrow because we're going to talk about some of that stuff. But at any rate, you guys, we are so grateful for every single one of you here. In the meantime, we also have the Free for All Friday. Let me get to it actually, because then I'll know what I'm talking about. Wouldn't that be fun?
Oh yeah, we should probably look at that before, not during the.
Yeah, this Friday's topic is coming from Jehoshaphat. It's called mental health, a process, and that's what we'll be going through on Friday. And fortunately, Joe gets to talk about it first this week. Um, which one? We'll see. Joe will talk about it first.
No matter what. No matter
No
what.
matter what happens, every week Joe talks about it first. But here's the link. If you have something you want to hear us talk about, post it right there, or you can post it in the chat, or you can find us on Discord. Joe B goes as the Count. I go as Joe A CDVNL. You can find either one of us there in Discord and send us a topic there. Post it here in the chat, or go to bss.studio, follow that link right there, and head and post it there. At some point or another, we might set up an email. I think that'd be a good idea. But we'll see. We'll cross that bridge as Jesse gets to it.
Mm.
but at any rate, we love you guys. Thank you so much for being here on this glorious Wednesday morning. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And also, come back tonight. We've got Don't Worry Wednesday tonight, where Ryan and I will go through some issues, topics, challenges that people have posted. And if nobody's here with their issues, then I guess we're just going to talk about stuff, because that'll be fun too. We'll have a good time. But we invite you to have a good time with us. So come on back to Don't Worry Wednesday, and we'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.
Bye, guys.